This video is shaky here because I'm in an awkward position, turning around while I'm at the wheel and pointing the camera behind me. I'm going to first show it at regular speed, and then I'm going to slow down the clip where you can see these women more clearly. These ladies look all so similar that they could pass for triplets, but in fact they are Vatican or CIA and have been following me in their cars for quite some time. They all look similar because they've all got the look that comes with a lifetime of slavery to the Vatican, which is what I call the Homer Simpson, which is the skin between their nose and their upper lip gets elongated. I notice this time and time again, which I'm highlighting in the video. The truth is that they all develop this look, and many are genetically predisposed to the implanting process through intergenerational satanic abuse. Now, I'm not trying to make fun of anybody. I don't want anybody to be self-conscious, but as you can see, this is how they look. Also, their lips get thin, tight, and appear stretched and downturned. They also either have very round, protruding eyes, or eyes that become like slits. This is the third woman here, and like I said, they all look extremely similar. They could pass for triplets. The next scene, I had a car tailgating for about 15 miles, and they were driving so erratically and they were swerving close that I decided to get out at the next red light and take a closer look. The people in the car behind me were buffers. It appeared like they were buffers. However, the guy behind them was a real bad guy. Once again, he had the high-level agency look. Observe the way he holds his head, almost identical to the man in the next scene. One phrase comes to mind when looking at this man, and that's Planet of the Apes. Put simply, this is your Vatican CIA progressing into the next batch of graves for the Drac Empire. Alright, this guy has a documentary which is called Excellent Mind Control Documentary. He's affiliated with the German intelligence outfit. I'm not recommending this video or anything other than an example of how insane these people really are and how they don't understand the technology that they're experimenting with. You could watch it if you want to. However, the speaker in this video contradicts himself so many times, I consider this man to be insane. I want to make it clear that I am very familiar with the government level technology, yet the origin of this technology does not simply go back to some scientist in the 1960s or whatever. That is a cover story to keep you on a low level of awareness. I'm here to tell you that you're not alone in the universe, but if it was up to the Vatican, they'll still have you believing that the earth was flat. I was describing their sort of technology a couple of years ago. I want to make it clear that it goes way beyond this. They're being trained to use this sort of technology against the human race and ultimately become greys. The Vatican is the secret shadowy group that hires the worst feds and CIA agents and does what is called military abductions, or force some people in and put them through a mind control process where they abandon their old lives for a new identity in some occupation inside the Vatican. The Vatican is a cult that worships the greys as gods, and this goes back thousands of years. They masquerade as Christians, yet they are Drac worshipping pagans, a witchcraft cult. And those of you who want to say that the CIA hasn't been involved with this since the 1960s or 70s, or since the last time they were exposed for all this corruption, they're lying to you. The CIA is rotten to the core. The CIA is basically the intelligence of all the different military groups and all the different corporations that work within the military groups, weapons manufacturers and stuff. The Central Intelligence Agency is the central office of all that. The FBI is the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Basically, the FBI is the CIA's complaint department. If you want to complain about the intelligence network of the military, you could dial 1-800-EAT-SHIT and you'll get the FBI there. The FBI should be investigating the CIA for all their crimes, but they don't. But for someone to get up and say it's not the CIA, it's some shadowy group that hires ex-feds, they're just sidetracking you. So now I'm going to play something here from Tony Glasses from Alaska, Germany.
Now I want to jump a little bit from Hemisync. Hemisync I also like because it's specific in the sense that if there's one thing you're particularly interested in achieving, whether it's learning or meditation, you can get one item to do the job. $20 versus several hundred for more sophisticated equipment. Again, take the least costly, least invasive approach to solving issues or problems or increasing performance and move from there. And Hemisync is really the least invasive of all technologies that I've demonstrated today. Now, the other technology I want to show a little bit about is it started with the Flanagan Neurophone, and this is a mid-level version. There were earlier versions going back to the 60s. More modern versions have been made. This was one that was hand-built by the inventor. And actually, what this does is it uses a couple of things, and then I'm going to show you the advancements in the technology. What this does is take a sound signal. And normally, how does sound enter the body? This thing we call an ear is really an array. It actually captures a sound wave as it hits the body, and this condenses the sound wave, the outer ear, into the inner ear, where it then hits the eardrum, creates a vibration. On the other side of that eardrum is a little bit of fluid. That vibration moves through that fluid, begins to vibrate 3 small bones in the inner ear, and then moves eventually to the 8th cranial nerve, where an electromagnetic signal actually transits the nerve, ends up in the auditory portions of the brain where we hear what you hear today, sound. Now, if I distort the array, if I distort my ear, both of them, and I close my eyes, and somebody jingles a set of keys, if I leave the ear as normal, I'll be able with pretty good accuracy tell pretty much where that sound is coming from. If I distort the array, it becomes much more difficult to isolate sound. So this isolates direction, isolates where sound is coming from. The next thing is that conditioning that happens in between. It's where the signal gets transferred into a pattern of transmission that the brain understands. Now, what Patrick Flanagan discovered was a way to replicate what the inner ear does. And In other words, to take a sound signal, condition it in such a way so you can bring it in, bypassing the 8th cranial nerve, normally thought to be responsible for all auditory input into the brain, and you can actually perceive sound, bringing it in through other parts of the nervous system, or perhaps that energetic system, that 4th system we talked about earlier, which is the acupuncture system of the body. The judge is still out on how the information gets in. Most recently, in the last few days, there was an article in our local paper talking about sound that's actually perceived from the auroral discharge. You know, some people hear it and some people don't. They really don't understand the mechanism by which that sound gets into the head. I'd suggest that it's a very similar mechanism to the one I'm about to demonstrate today. Now, what we did is we advanced the technology significantly. An incredible inventor in Germany, Robert Thiedemann, actually took the old concepts of the neurophonic technology, which included about a 30 components on an electronic board in this box to create a sound that you could perceive literally in the center of the head.